Question: where was Abraham Lincoln born? Well, the history books we all read in school tell us Kentucky. A lot of people, including some historians, though, question whether that is true. They say Lincoln may have actually been born here in North Carolina, about an hour and 15 minutes west of Charlotte. So tonight we go searching for the truth. Down this winding road, cutting through the woods of Rutherford County, you'll find a tale born here along Puzzle Creek. To hear it, you need to head a mile or so into the old rail town of Bostic, where Main Street meets Depot.
Right out in Bostic, there's a sign that says Bostic Lincoln Museum, and it has Abraham Lincoln's face and a big tall hat on it, and I thought I'd run off the road. So what is Lincoln doing in North Carolina?
Elizabeth Morgan isn't the first to wonder.
Well, this is the main room.
But her curiosity didn't just lead to a visit, it led her to volunteer at the Bostic Lincoln Center.
So we have quite a few things brought to us because we are the only museum in town.
It's a museum challenging the history books that the nation's 16th president wasn't born in Kentucky, he was born here in North Carolina. That is the question, right?
That is the question.
Do you solve that here?
Well, we examine the evidence that we have had presented, and most of that evidence is folklore.
Shared through the generations, first pieced together by the late Tom Melton, a longtime Rutherford County educator.
He was the keeper of the story.
Lynn Wall is his niece.
He and other people that were interested in the story would travel, and they would get a lot of oral history, and we have that documented on a video. And then they would also write things down, and he was just a real good historian. And he loved to tell the story, believe me. He would tell you a lot.
The story is one of hardship and, frankly, scandal. It's largely the story of Lincoln's mother, Nancy Hanks. In the late 1700s, her single mom with no way to support her sent her to live and work with Rutherford County landowner Abraham Enlow and his family. What did she do for him?
Well, we think she cooked, and she just did household chores.
She would eventually become his assistant. She would travel with him on business. And sometime around 1804, she got pregnant.
We believe he sent her west to either after the child was born to provide for her in a more, secretive location, or she chose to go. Eventually, he brought her back, and he brought her back to show her around because people were saying that he had had her killed and the child killed as well.
Shortly thereafter, Tom Lincoln enters this version of history. Enlow is said to have paid him $500 to take responsibility for Nancy and the young boy. They would load up in a wagon, head out of state, and get married.
These people who study folk history will tell you time and again that if there's a consistency and there's no reason to have it made up, those are two of the baselines.
Because if you're looking for documents like, say, a birth certificate, there are none. But there is a curious couple of photos of Abraham Enlow's son, Wesley. He's unusually tall and lanky. He looks strikingly similar to what could be his half-brother. Do you have any doubt that Abraham Lincoln was born here?
I have no doubt that Abraham Lincoln was born in this county.
It's a mystery, but it's, and like I said, it's a mystery that I think is solvable.
How? DNA. Enlow descendants have provided it. The government has remains of Lincoln. There's a petition at the museum you can sign asking for the okay to have it tested, to settle history once and for all. The Bostic Lincoln Center is open by appointment only. The easiest way to schedule one is by messaging the center from its Facebook page, and we have linked that to this story on our website. Check it out.